But then obviously for the Wrecking Yard and stuff like that, was that who kind of sort of wrote the lyrics and stuff like that?
That was all Chris. That was Chris wrote the lyrics, and I would say I wrote most of the tune on it, but he did write some tunes on it too. But then even with that, we'd end up, because he produced it all as well, and sounds, and basically knew how to do all that. I mean, if it was done to me, you know what I mean, it would be. I mean, he knew how to produce, he knew how to do all this stuff. So it was a great experience, because to be able to go in and just, it was so nice to get to sing stuff that you love doing and all that. And I mean, it all comes to an end, and now I've got I've been enjoying the tribute, I call it the tribute, it was like the last waltz.
Yeah.
It's been great getting to do that with all the guys, and, you know, going around playing. And I was talking to Kirsten Adams, because she played it, she's brilliant. I mean, there's one that can sing, but she can write songs and that too, and let it, brilliant. She was letting us, you know, that sitting playing and backstage and stuff between the gigs, before the gig, and she was playing these songs. And then I'd said, because she'd asked me about the singing, about the writing, and I'd said, like, about no being a lyricist. So she's actually offered to, I mean, she's a busy lassie, but I hope it does come together, because she said she'd be interested in doing a bit with me, you know, writing some stuff with me. So, I mean, I don't know if you've heard the record, it's fabulous, like, you know, so check it out, folks, and hopefully maybe get a bit writing, and that'll give me a wee boost. And I do sometimes, we wrote a couple of things during the lockdown. We wrote a song kind of about the lockdown and the state of everything and that. But again, that was my brother's lyrics, and I wrote a tune.
Right, okay.
And then he wrote a tune, and then but that was like actually over the phone. But that one, it was called Unsinkable. Right. But we've got that song, but we made that, we called ourselves Dead Man's Coats, just to try and do something completely different than that. But we never really, everybody's so busy. We done the song, we made a video eventually, when we could sort of be together, and it's quite a powerful song, I think. I was really proud of that one. But we were going to then go on to do an album, but like Lee's with Dad touring, and Chris's with Dougie McLean and the Rosillos, Dave's got his Just Beatles and everyone else. So that's why it was so special doing that last waltz thing, because you're getting everybody, especially she getting to be on, see the Canega Hall, it was brilliant, because it was so we have two brothers on the stage with me, and obviously the guys, Dave and Liam are like brothers anyway, because, you know, they've been cutting about. But it was my mum and dad's 56th wedding anniversary, so on the night they can they go home.
Yeah.
So I was able to say my mum and that, and done a song for my mum and that, which was nice, eh? So it was all kind of a special night, and for us all to be playing as a family, because there's not a lot of us when we, you know, especially with Dad, us all playing together. There's not a lot of us, and to have that on film and recorded, and we've filmed the whole gig at the Carnegie Hall. So I'm actually going there later tonight to have a wee look at it and check the damage, see what if it's, you know, it's all right and that, you know.
Are you going to release that as like a DVD or? I
don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'd have to look into if we can do that with being what it is. But if we can, we will. Aye.
No, aye. Fantastic. And then just obviously touching on like writing about songs again. Then, like one of the best songs that from the Wrecking Yard for me was "Paid My Dues."
Paid My Dues. Aye.
Like again, so I was going to ask you, where did the inspiration come for writing that? But if that was someone else, how did you get the emotion then to transfer that?
Well, that one, I mean, again, that was basically, I'm trying to remember how that, I can't, I think Chris wrote the lyrics first, and they were lovely words, yeah. And I started doing the tune to that one. I remember messing with the tune to that, and then one of us, whoever thought would be a nice duo, so we got Beth Malcolm, who's obviously fabulous. I mean, she's doing really, really well in the folk world now. She's like, you know, you get your folk music in the Glasgow Celtic Connection, things like that. But she's quite famous in her. She's brilliant, no? So she was on that. But how that came about, I can't remember how we decided to do it as a duo. But that, I mean,
your voices are brilliant again.
Aye, really good. But you know, when you talk about the emotion thing and that's what I'm saying. I think if lyrics are, for me, if I like the tune, or I've got a nice tune, yeah. Either or, if the lyrics are great, then I'll enjoy singing. You can feel the emotions. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was one of the songs, one of my favourites on it was, I can't even remember, it was the one about, I can't even remember. You know, I can't remember. It was like there was about war. You know, about the. Because your father sounded like rain. It was a cracker, but it was on that album. But it was like powerful, and singing that you can feel the emotions. And love. I mean, everybody's been in love and had the heartbroken, right? So I mean, you can think it to that, like, you know what I mean. But
that's brilliant. So again, then, just kind of looking at for newer bands coming through, like the music scene just now, it's obviously quite a tough scene. Obviously, there's a lot of sort of manufactured type music out there just now.
Aye, I mean, but they've always had that, like, the nonsense. Like some, you know, somewhere there's been that horrible stuff. But I mean, but for the bands and that, I mean, it's great now in the way that it's a catch-22, I think you call it, because it's like you can now get seen whatever you're doing. You know, like you can advertise your gigs, you can record, you can actually record a lot of things in your house and that, and everything else. But the trouble is, it's just there's so many folk doing it. So I suppose it's. And it's your Donald Duck a lot of the time, you know. If you need the right person to see you at the right time that's got the clout, I would imagine, to getting you on Radio 1 and things like, depending on what you're doing, you want to be getting the airplay and stuff. I think the most important must be airplay. It must be writing the song, getting the air. As I say, I think as long as the main thing is with a band is to enjoy yourself. I mean, just going to all the the whole rock and roll thing, didn't go too mental, like, you know what I mean? You just spoil it for yourself. But I mean, but you know, it's like, kid, enjoy yourself. But that's the whole thing. I mean, I think most guys play the guitar first to get a girlfriend, you know, get girls and that. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't forget, like, it's not all about the music, you know. You know, better scrub that out, actually. No, but it's like, you know, it's like if you enjoy it, you can enjoy it and that, you know. And if you get I suppose there's different levels of making, isn't there? I mean, for me, like, I'm making a living, you make a living doing what you do, then there's different things. But these kind of cult, you know, things, it's great, you know, these kind of cult bands that can do. That's what I would have liked to have got to with that record yard, and to be able to go out and do stuff you love, but you're on a level you don't have to be writing too commercial, but you're making a living doing your own thing. Yeah. But I mean, it's just I think with the young bands, as I say, I would say that it didn't get caught up too much in while you're young, didn't get caught up too much in the covers thing, because you know, you can do that forever for a living or whatever, or a bit extra money. But if you want to do the big time or that, you're probably better concentrating on your and you do have to kind of. I mean, I kind of find balance. You know what I mean? I never, as I say, it's like, I don't know what it's like as much now, but back in the day, you know, you had to tour around and play around all the bars and do all the bit, like, you know what I mean? But it's but the main thing, I think, just enjoy yourself, you know what I mean? Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think. Yeah.
So do you have to do a lot of sort of travelling then, obviously, because obviously you're going to different towns to play gigs and stuff, and I'm guessing the venues are kind of dying away a wee bit, so you have to maybe travel that bit further, is that the case?
Depends. As far as, I mean, for doing your original stuff, I mean, I think it's all the same kind of, like, you got PJ Malloy's is quite a place to play now. Yeah. There used to be a place you recorded at one time. There was a place, I can't mind. No, there was one. There was
the Duchess.
No, just years ago it was one. It was just a wee place, but it became a kind of place that everybody wanted to be doing their own stuff. That back in the 90s, right enough, so I didn't even get it still there. But then you had King Tut's and the Cat House. Yep. Then you got the Twat Arms. Around about Scotland, there'd be one in Dundee and things like that. I mean, Oasis got signed in the Twat Arms, in the King Tut, so, you know, like things like that. But I don't know, I mean, I don't know if there's every record. I mean, is there nowadays, is there record companies walking about pubs? I don't know. I mean, surely. I suppose that's the thing, though. I mean, you want to be seeing someone live because to see if they can play live, but also to see how they look, the vibe. I mean, some bands just the pure vibe on the stage and the electric, the magic. Some bands have got that magic, so they'd have to, record companies or whatever would want to see that, to feel that, you know, to know,
You need to get that sort of experience from the band, because things sound different on an album.
Aye, I mean, it's
stage, obviously.
Aye, I mean, it's you want to get that experience. You don't want, you got to watch as well, like folk, they're not but just recording and never going out. And the Beatles done that later in life, but they kind of done all right before they done that, and then they decided we're not going to bother doing, we're not going out anymore.
But I guess there's that fine line again between obviously recording quite a bit and then obviously rehearsing and then gigging and stuff like that. So I suppose it's a fine balance, obviously.
Aye, I mean, it'd be a fine balance with it all. If you, as I would say, aye, I would say first of all, get your. I mean, if you're a band, just get your band really tight and everything else, and
Obviously, choose a name as well. How
and
did you
choose.
come up
Oh
with the name Stevie Agnew
God!
Band?
I didn't want to be called the Stevie Agnew Band, but it was. I went out myself for years, and then my brother came out with me, and in different, over the time, and. I mean, at one time, Chris came out, we called ourselves Stevie Agnew and Thunderman, because Chris was like, he was really a Viking, he used to have the long hair and all that, he's a big guy, eh? Yeah. So we called him Thunderman, so it was me and Thunderman, and folk like that, you go, I get crack at the gig, Thunderman, And then there was Ali joined, and then after a while, when we done our own material, I mean, I reckon that was a bit later on, the albums I had done. But before that, we'd done a lot of demos and stuff with bands, with a band, me and Ali, Ferguson, Dave, Liam, my brother Lee, and Chris. We'd done, and then I'd done things with Dave as well over the years, different things that we'd done recording-wise. And we always called it a band thing then, for those things. Yeah. But just with the band, really, I'd rather it was just inconspicuous, like for the tax and all that, I'd rather just be like, call it a band name, but it's all me, Stevie Agnew, you know what I mean? And if there's any ball at the pub, they go, that's his name was Stevie Agnew. You know what I mean? So you go and cause a fight, and I'm like, yeah, here I am. So...
Would you say the band name's important, or is it more about the music, obviously?
Oh, no, it's important to get if you can get a brilliant name, eh? Yeah. I mean, you can get names. I mean, if it's a good name, it's kind of, you've got to catch somebody, get your attention, and then it's... Probably, I mean, the most important thing would be your songs, for folk in the long run to be sitting listening to and relating to. But then there's that whole live vibe in that as well, isn't there? And, some bands have just got that thing,
Yep. And obviously yourself, I mean, you've been doing it for, I've been watching you for the best part of 30 years.
Oh, it's been a wee while, aye.
I mean, I remember going to watch you in the Roadhouse, which
aye.
17-year-old snuck through the back to watch, I think you were playing a function or a birthday or something, you played High and Dry, and that's what first...
Aye. Wow, man. I know I've certainly played about a long time now. I mean, I'm 51 now, so... I mean, I started playing full time, on and off, doing bits in here, work bits and pieces, but, like mainly playing since I was, well, at least like 18, 19, and some folk would say it's still the same songs I do, but I do change it a bit now. I still do. There's some ones, I've sang King of the Swingers more times than King Louie, and he's a cartoon, like, you know what I mean? But I wish I hadn't learnt that song, do you? It's not so bad in Dunfermline. No, sorry, it's only in Dunfermline because I play King of the Swingers and Drunken Scott. But the trouble is, it's like, that was a hard thing, because if you were trying to do your own material, I had to separate it from doing the covers, because, you're going to see you were doing Paid My Dues, and you're going to burst into King of the Swingers afterwards, you know what I mean? Doesn't really gel. But
I tell you, that did obviously cause a great atmosphere for you. So if you're doing the covers in pubs and stuff like that, but I suppose it has the flip side for people like yourself who are wanting to do maybe more sort of serious stuff, your own stuff. And get it.
But I think it was. I think on reflection, is didn't take yourself too seriously, because what we should have done back in the day, especially with the Blind Poet, we used to play there like for years, every week, and we had our bands at that time with different names doing our own material, but we were playing to the students all the time. We should have been, this is just my opinion, but we should have just been doing our own stuff and the covers, just chucked it on, and folk would be then asking for one that was yours and one was that. But you can get a bit kind of like, oh, we're keeping that separate and we're not doing that, but why, it's just, you're just being kind of like young, I suppose, But
I suppose you do get a wee bit bored with the same song over and over again.
Aye.
But I tell you, what an atmosphere it creates.
Oh, that creates, I didn't bother me, but it's just about sometimes you can. It's not that. Sometimes you go to do a gig and you've just arrived and it's like you start to somebody else, you play King of the Swingers and I go, oh man, I'm just waiting for the drugs to kick in, like, you know what I mean?
I said though, like, I remember there was a dentist or a doctor or something, and he used to get up on stage with his Mercedes keys and he used to shake them in front of the crowd. He used to do it in the ballroom as well. The
dancing there, aye. Aye, we used to call him. Aye,
What an atmosphere that day.
that was mad. I remember that. I don't know if it happened to him.